If you are under 35 and feel like your life is fundamentally failing, Carl Jung suggests your real life hasn't even legally started yet. The existence you are living right now is merely a rehearsal, a social script you are taking far too seriously. We are systematically conditioned to chase early milestones. We are told to acquire degrees, secure stable careers, and build relationships before our 20s expire. But early success is rarely a metric of profound intelligence. More often, it is simply a metric of high-level obedience. You are not building an authentic life. You are constructing a highly sophisticated defense mechanism to avoid disappointing the culture that raised you. This is why you are exhausted. Your chronic fatigue isn't a clinical burnout issue. It is the physical cost of pretending your current social status matters to your soul. You spend 90% of your daily energetic output maintaining a false self, a curated mask designed strictly for public consumption. Carl Jung understood that the ego we build in our youth is completely artificial. It is a necessary container, but it is not who you are. The anxiety that keeps you awake at night is not a malfunction. It is your subconscious actively trying to assassinate the fake version of you before it becomes permanent. Jung mapped human psychological development through the analogy of the solar arc. The morning of life, our 20s and early 30s, is dedicated to expanding outward. We build careers, we gather resources, we construct the ego. The culture rewards this expansion because the culture feeds on your labor. But the afternoon of life demands the exact opposite. It demands contraction. It demands the integration of the shadow. What works brilliantly in the morning will destroy you in the afternoon. The tragedy of the overachiever is the absolute refusal to transition. Smart people ruin their 20s by fortifying the morning matrix so heavily that they make their psychological afternoon impossible to access. When the inevitable quarter-life crisis arrives, your immediate instinct is to fix it. You turn to modern therapy. You begin journaling. You consume endless streams of self-help literature. You believe you are doing the work. But intellectualizing your shadow self is a cowardly substitute for actually allowing your current life to fail. Your self-awareness has become your most sophisticated saboteur. You use psychological vocabulary not to heal, but to build a thicker armor around the ego. You diagnose your trauma perfectly, yet your behavior remains identically stagnant. You are simply piloting a corpse with better vocabulary. True psychological integration never begins when you are ready. It begins with an initiatory event, a forced identity destruction. It requires the violent failure of your intelligence. You cannot think your way out of a psychological prison you thought your way into. You must allow the carefully curated structures of your 20s to collapse. The relationships built on mutual pretense must end. The career path that looks pristine on paper must be recognized for the cage that it is. This is the stage of the nigredo, the psychological blackening, the absolute dismantling of the false self. Spiritual maturity is not a reward for hard work. It is the brutal unraveling of stability. The universe will force you to transform by stripping away everything you used to define yourself. If you still know exactly who you are, you haven't grown in 5 years. You are merely protecting a reputation. Let the old identity die. Stop trying to save a personality you secretly hate. The existential loneliness you feel is not a disease. It is the necessary quarantine your brain enforces to build someone entirely new.